Hello students, now our next topic of discussion is instruction cycle. Actually every instruction that is given to the computer is performed by the CPU. So when we talk about the instruction cycle, first we have to understand what is the simplified view of a CPU and the bus system. A CPU consists of ALU, arithmetic logical unit, control unit and registers. So the instruction that is to be executed is performed with the help of all these threes, and that is carried out by the various buses, that is control bus, data bus and address bus, that is the bus system. So now let's first discuss the instruction cycle. A program residing in the memory unit of a computer consists of a sequence of instructions. These instructions are executed by the processor by going through a cycle for each instruction. In a basic computer, each instruction cycle consists of the following phase. Actually, every instruction, either it is a print, it's a execution of any command, printing command, or it start any software, all these things are what instruction. So the instruction are that are executed by the CPU. So it's have a process of execution that consists of these steps. First is fetching instruction from memory. Whatever the instruction that is fetched, first of all it's fetched from the memory, then decode this instruction what we have to perform. Now after that, what it has to be performed, it is to be read the effective address where in the memory the data is to be stored, then carry out this data, and that data is to be executed as the output of the instruction. So that is what a instruction cycle. So instruction cycle consists of fetching instruction, decoding, read address and memory, and execute the instruction. That is called as the instruction cycle. So these four steps are included in instruction cycle. Now let's discuss these. For executing these instructions, there are various types of registers are required, because every information that is to be fetch, decode or execute, it is to be stored in the form of register, that is the smallest memory location. So there are various types of registers are there. The first type of registers are that are included in instruction cycle is memory address register, which is called as MAR. It is connected with the system bus address lines. It specifies the address of read or write operation in memory. So it stores the address where the data that is to be executed is, its location is to be stored over there. Now the next is memory buffer. Now in memory buffer, it is connected of the data lines of the system bus. It's connected the system bus lines. It hold the memory valuable to be stored and the last value read from the memory. That means it's going to buffer, storing the data till then it is executed. Next is program counter PC. It's hold the address of the next instruction to be fetched, because fetching, executing and instruction cycle is a continuous process. So if one instruction is to be in the process of execution or it is in the process of decode, the next instruction that is to be in the pipeline is comes out as the next instruction. So that number is to be stored in a register that is called as program counter. Instruction register, it holds the last instruction fetched. So whatever the last instruction that is to be fetched, that is executed, is stored in instruction register. Now fetching cycle, the address of the next instruction to execute in the program counter at the beginning of fetch cycle. So the first one is as the fetch cycle start, because earlier the instruction that is to be executed or as the instruction that is to be ongoing process, the next instruction which is in the pipeline is to be first entered into the program counter. Its number is to be given. The address in the program counter is transferred to memory address register as the only register that is connected to the bus system of address line. Now after that, it's transfer its address to memory address register, where it's going to store the address of the location. The address in MAR is put the address buses. Now a read order is provided by the control unit on the control bus, and the result appear on the data bus as it copied onto the memory buffer register. The program counter is increment by 1 to get ready the next instruction. These two acts can be carried out concurrently to save the time. That means as soon as the program's counter transfer its address to the memory address register, it's going to retrieve the data from the memory location with the help of control buses. As soon as it's going to retrieve the data in memory buffer register, simultaneously the program counter is increment its value by 1. That means next instruction which is in the pipeline, it comes over there. Now the last step is the content of MBR is moved to the instruction register. So that 3 steps are called as the fetch cycle, as it is in the form of how the instruction register language it's going to store. So the macro operation is performed, MAR, PC counter is transferred to MAR, then from memory it is memory buffer register it's transferred, the PC is increased by 1, and the MBR instruction is transferred to IR, that is ready for decode or execution of the instruction. So that is actual the operational task that is performed. Now after that, the decoding process. The next move of the fetch source operand, once an instruction is fetched, the indirect addressing obtained by the addressing mode, here it is done by the indirect addressing is obtained by the source operand. So it's going to what the information address IR register, it's going to store the information, it is again transferred to MAR and from memory to MBR. So the decoding process is going to be done in this process where the information is decoded. As soon as the information is decoded, the last step of the instruction cycle is to execute the instruction. So each requires simple and fixed micro operation of sequence, and the instruction is to be executed. So that are the various steps that is to be performed in an instruction cycle. Now it's an example how the information is to be transferred and executed. So that is what instruction cycle. Thank you everyone.